Axiom Zen and CryptoKitties. I've been at Axiom Zen for the last 4 years. And now I work on CryptoKitties. Like the rest of our team, we've pretty much all moved over to blockchain projects. So I just want to back up and talk a little bit about why CryptoKitties. Sometimes people think it's a punchline that went too far, and at the start it might have been, but the essence of the goals are always the same. Is we wanted to make blockchain more friendly. We wanted to make blockchain something that mainstream consumers felt like they could have a part in and be a part of its future. And we just wanted to make it something that felt a little bit more accessible. So this is what CryptoKitties looks like on paper. Over the last year, these are some of the headlines that you've probably seen. $27 million in market transactions. We're about to reach our 1.5 million cat ever bred. Thanks. We have 86,000 kitty owners, and this number we're going to go back to in a little bit. It's a lot lower given the amount of hoopla we have for the other metrics that we've seen. And many of you have heard about the cat that sold for $140,000 in May in New York last year, the Celestial Cyber Dimension CryptoKitty. So what do I work on? I work on the Kittyverse. This is supporting third-party developers, helping them build on top of the CryptoKitties or take CryptoKitties into new places. Also work on the NFT license. So we'll talk about this in a minute. But basically supporting NFT creators, owners, and service providers for various NFTs to figure out how to play nice with each other and exercise true ownership in a way that benefits everyone, not just the owner or the creator or the service provider. Also some secret projects. We're a company that doesn't just work on cats. We're working on other things as well. So I can tell you a little bit about that, but not too much. Yeah, so we'll jump in. We are taking bets on extensibility. This is the big piece that I care about the most. This is the piece that our entire team cares a lot about, is how can we take the cats into new places and how can we demonstrate that extensibility is something that matters, and really just showcasing what blockchain is all about in decentralized platforms. And we're doing this when the cats leave our ecosystem and enter other people's. And this is really when consumers start to understand what is the benefit of being a part of this ecosystem. But where did the Kittyverse actually come from? And it didn't come from us, it came from the community. They realized the need for the Kittyverse a lot sooner than we did. People got their first cat, they bought it, or they bred the perfect kitty, and then they wanted to know what to do with it. And we didn't have a great answer there. You could keep breeding, you could collect, you could chase a fancy, but that was about it. And the community answered this need. They saw lots of opportunity to create experiences and games that were interesting to them and interesting to the rest of the market. So when CryptoKitties started, there were a handful of experiences that people had created. We now have over 50 experiences and tools and extensions and various add-ons in the Kittyverse. When we started, there was about 12. And I've issued 120 API tokens for people to develop more experiences. So I'm very excited to see what is coming down the pipeline from the community of developers. One of them I want to highlight, this is Kitty Races. So this is a game where you line your cats up, or you submit a cat and compete with other people to see which cat is the fastest. And speed is determined by the attributes that you can have. So you could, in theory, breed the optimal cat, or you could set parameters around what types of cats could enter. And when Kitty Races started, within hours of launching, someone had already built a bot that would call the race function. And so this ecosystem had an ecosystem of its own. This person wasn't in the community, and they wanted to contribute to something that was started because of CryptoKitties, but it has become its own product. And this is really interesting because it doesn't really need to be a kitty race. It's a nifty race. It could be any NFT. Same thing with kitty battles or many of the things on this slide. It's not really about the Kittyverse anymore. It's a lot about the Niftyverse and the things that we're all working on. This one I think is probably most applicable to everyone in this room. Users are starting to understand what it means to hold a blockchain asset and be a part of an open platform. I think a lot of the users that we have that are interested in NFTs are interested in what the blockchain really means. They're the first users that are here not because of the speculation of crypto, but they're here because they really understand what it means, and there are advocates for everything that we're working on. Okay, next one, this is the NFT license. So this is what NFTs can do that no other creative IP can do. We're sort of entering new territory. There's different takes on this, but what we realized we had lots of questions from people that wanted to know what they could do with their cat. And they wanted to know, okay, if I have true ownership, I want to put it on a t-shirt and sell t-shirts. Like, okay, this makes sense. At first it didn't make sense, and it made us nervous, to be honest. But it shouldn't, because this is what we're doing. And so we then realized that we needed to kind of come up with some guidelines. So some guidelines for people that had the cats. What could you and could you not do with them? What could we enforce? What did we want to enforce? And what kinds of things did we think was reasonable for the community and ourselves as NFT holders, as well as other NFT creators and people that wanted to make other services. So the NFT license is really just terms of service that is open. Anyone can copy it and they can use it and put it in their own terms of service for their own dApps or products that you're working on. For us, we allow, for CryptoKitties, anybody can take their cat and you can commercialize up to $100,000. It's up to the NFT creator how big or small that number is. For some people, there shouldn't be a number at all. It should be unlimited if this is true ownership. But we believe that over $100,000, these are decisions that start to impact our business and they start to impact our community. If you wanted to take a CryptoKitty and cover it in hate speech and sell it on a t-shirt in Walmart, that kind of impacts what would happen for the rest of the CryptoKitties community. And so we want to be a part of that. But it's up to the creators if you choose to use the license, how you want to enforce this, if you want to enforce it, and what the actual numbers are. So there's also protection against other players using your NFT. So anyone that uses your NFT has to cryptographically verify that it actually belongs to you. So you sign the transaction on MetaMask or any other workaround that people have come up with. So this is enabling people to not use your cat or put your cat on another t-shirt or take your cat and race it. If you own it, you are the only one that gets to use it. So that's the same point for service providers, is guidelines on how to enable people to use their NFTs in these ways. And same thing for the creators, is there's protections for modifying. If people are modifying your art in a way that you don't think is fair, like we're not talking about kitty hats, we're talking about like that Walmart example. This isn't really something that we want to encourage, and it's not something that we think NFT creators need to navigate. We think that it's reasonable for them to want to take action on that, but it's up to all of these people to decide whether or not it's fair. So we're hopeful that the NFT license would be something that a user could see and read and decide, yes, this makes sense, or no, it doesn't. And we're taking feedback. We're on the second iteration, working on the third. So very excited to hear what other people think and how we can make this more applicable to the industry. The last thing we've been working on is making the game more of a game. So it kind of has weak game elements. You can breed, you can buy, you can collect, and it's a really good place for bots, and it wasn't a great place for humans when we got to the peak of it. People were creating bots to make fancies and then selling fancies for high prices, and it wasn't fun for the people that created the community, the real people that created the community. So we're working on making this more interesting for humans. We have time-limited fancy chases, collections, offers, various components that are making this a good place to be. So what's next? We're very grateful for the attention that we got during launch, and it also shone light on a lot of things that need to be improved and a lot of things that we're interested in working on. So the next one is, it might be cute when you get to CryptoKitties, and it might be cute when you're on the blockchain and there's lots of cool things you can play with, but it's still not easy. So we had 86,000 people were able to successfully become cat owners, but we had hundreds of thousands of attempts. And these are people that created wallets but weren't able to make a purchase. And before that, we had millions of eyeballs on the site. And so we can see these drop-off points, and it's still not easy for people to join our ecosystems and be a part of this community. But if they got there, we wouldn't really be able to support them anyways. So that's the next pieces we're looking at, is scalability. It's been a theme of today, but how can we support people that want to be a part of this, and without clogging the Ethereum network and making all these transactions that don't need to be made, and just making sure that it's a seamless experience and a good experience for everyone that chooses to join us. And the last piece is working with partners in our community. We want to keep delivering a compelling experience, so working with third-party IP, creating our own IP, working with more games, and anybody that's interested in taking the cats or other NFTs to new places.